Praise be to God. There is a word from the Lord.
Amen.
Amen. And for such a time as this, I'm led to 1 Corinthians chapter 9. I was led there earlier this week to study and proclaim what the scripture says. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. We're going to pick up at verse 24. And I'll be reading into your hearing these words from the New King James. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. Amen. As Paul wrote to the Corinthian church. Amen. The people in Corinth. 1 Corinthians 9:24. We're going to pick up there. The word of God reads, "Do you not know that those who run in the race all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may obtain it. And everyone who competes for the prize, intemperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a perishable crown, but we for an imperishable crown. Therefore I run thus, not with uncertainty that I fight, not as one who beats the air." And verse 27 reads, "But I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest when I have preached to others, I myself should become disqualified." Let the Lord bless his holy word. I'm going to talk to you from this subject, the well-trained Christian.
All right.
The well-trained Christian.
Amen.
You may be seated. The well-trained Christian. The well-trained Christian. Paul was fond of athletic images and used them often in his letters. The Corinthians would have been familiar with Greek athletic games as well as their own local Isthmian games.
Yeah.
Knowing this, Paul used a metaphor very close to their experience. An athlete must be disciplined if he or she is to win the prize.
That's right.
Discipline means giving up the good and the better for the best. The athlete must watch his or her diet as well as their hours that they keep.
Right.
He or she must smile and say no thank you when other people offer them fattening desserts or invite them to a late night party. And there is nothing wrong with food for fun, but if they interfere with your highest goals, then they are a hindrance and they do not help us at all. On the other hand, there is something to be said for the disciplined eating, exercising, and resting in a spirit-directed, balanced life. Now, we smugly congratulate ourselves when we do not smoke or do not drink whiskey. But what about the overeating? What about the lying? What about the meddling? What about the gossiping? Help me, Holy Ghost. What about the fornicating? And many Christians cannot discipline their time so as to have a consistent devotional life or Bible study program. Listen, the Corinthian, the Christians, the Christian does not run the race in order to get to heaven. He or she is in the race because one has been saved through faith in Jesus Christ.
Amen.
That's why you're in the race.
Yes, sir.
Now, our Greek citizens were allowed to participate in the games, and they had to obey the rules both in their training and in their performing. Hold on, this is a great story.
All right.
Any contestant found breaking the training rules were automatically disqualified. As you look at the Christian life, it should be understood as a race that it is to be run, and a fight has to be fought. It's a battle. You got to run, you got to fight, and the starting point of the race is the foot of the cross, and the finish line is the grave. Brothers and sisters, if we are to successfully run the race, there are several things that are necessities. Paul had one great goal in life, Reverend Basket, to glorify the Lord by winning the lost and building up saints. To reach this goal, he was willing to pay the price.
All right, all right.
He was willing even to give up his personal rights. He sacrificed immediate gains for eternal wars. He sacrificed immediate pleasures for eternal joys. You got to sacrifice in this race.
Well, yeah.
3 points I'm going to hit, then we're going to go on home. You must have concern for the contest.
All right.
That's it.
Right there in verse 24. You must have concern for the contest. If a runner is to win the race, one cannot approach the race with indifference.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Indifference, Sister Hegwood, is a hindrance to any in Christian life. The half-hearted Christian will not go very far from the starting point. But Paul told the Christian at Corinth to run with the expectation of winning.
Amen. Yeah.
Don't get in a race, you all, if you don't think you're going to win.
Well.
If these Christians were to run with the expectation of winning, they would have a concern for the contest. If they were to properly train for winning, it would require concern for the contest. Winning requires more than just showing up for the contest.
Oh, yeah.
It requires concern. And there are many people who have enough concern to show up for the contest, but they do not have enough concern to win.
Right.
As you look at verse 24, you'll see that there's no room for indifference in the Christian race. It is a race that requires the successful runners to have the concern for the race. And Paul told his readers, run in such a way that you may win. In other words, don't be lollygagging. Don't be messing up. Don't let them people tell you, you don't need to do this here. No, you say, listen, I'm in a race and I got to discipline myself because I'm running in such a way that I know I'm going to win.
Amen.
All right.
Second point, you must be contention. There must be contention in the contest. And what does that mean, Reverend? I'm going to help you. The word competes means to contend, to struggle with. If we hear yesterday, you'll understand about conflict. You'll struggle with difficulties and dangers.
Yeah.
It also means to undertake with strenuous intensity.
Yeah.
Right here in verse 24, Paul was painting the picture of a competitor who would expect to be a winner in athletic games.
Right.
All right.
If you got the mindset that you're going to lose, don't even get into the race.
That's it.
There you go.
I'm going to go back. The Chiefs were talking about the Super Bowl way back in August.
Right. Yeah. That's it.
We just ain't talking about playoffs.
Right.
We talking about going all the way.
Yeah.
Don't say we hit this and win 1 or 2, 3 games.
Thank you,
Get a
Reverend.
little money and, amen, make a few more commercials. No, we're going all the way with this baby.
All the way.
As you look at this verse, you'll see that it's not enough just to be among the runners. It ain't enough you all just to come to church. Y'all quiet. It ain't enough just to come to Bible study.
What else we got?
Y'all still quiet.
What else we got?
It ain't enough just to pay a little money, amen. Now we don't see you but once every 3 or 4 months, amen.
What else?
Right.
It ain't enough just to call somebody and say, I love you, amen, and God loves you too, amen. It ain't enough just to be around a few church folk every now and then.
What else we got?
There needs to be more than showing up for the contest. It takes more than coming to church and having community preach right out on first Sunday.
What else we got?
Contest requires us to exert our powers.
Right.
There needs to be a strenuous effort both put forth to win. And we must use the energy. Yeah. And we got to use self-control. Paul was suggesting here that the Christian life does not require an exhibition of skill. We all got talents. Y'all do stuff. You got talents. We got skill. You're not here just an exhibition of skill. It requires stern work and time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we should never get excited about how well or how poorly people do early in the race.
Right,
That's
right.
it.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Because Ambassador, there are some people who do well at first,
Yeah.
but they tend to fall back when the difficulties arise. I'm preaching real good, y'all. Y'all ain't saying amen.
There it is.
Some folks start real good,
Yeah.
but they fall back when difficulty
Yeah, they do.
hits.
Amen.
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 They're good starters, but poor finishers. And Christians need to know that there is no prize for those who start and do not finish.
Help us out.
Yeah. And those who would expect to win the prize must endure pain and agony, as well as making use of the skills available in order to be victorious. We talked about that yesterday in leadership. You're going to have conflict.
Amen.
And when Moses and Nehemiah, Ronaldo Nehemiah, amen, not the biblical prophet, they ran hurdles back there in the 70s, amen. And they didn't, and you were here yesterday, they didn't run around the hurdles, they had to run over the hurdles.
Yeah.
And some of the hurdles amen, was described and it was determined that you must stay in your lane and you got to get the prize, you got to be in order.
Right.
And you got to be consistent.
Right.
And you got to finish. And what you're saying, Reverend Mount, in some things in life, there's going to be some hurdles.
Yeah.
There's going to be some folk that are going to get in your way.
True.
They're going to stop you from get you on. Let me go sing. Stop you from getting your groove on to worship, to come in the church, to come in the Bible study, to come to Sunday school. There's going to be some obstacles out there.
All right.
Those who would expect to win the prize must endure pain and agony as well as making use of the skills available in order to be victorious. It's going to be some hurt.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be some discomfort. You're going to have to miss some meals. And some of us need to miss some meals.
Right.
Amen. Now, the guard was messing with me the other day. Said, Reverend, you lost a little. I said, yeah, I lost a little bit. I said, I'm going to try to keep it off. Amen. I'm doing the best I can. I lost a lot in a hurry. I just ain't had no appetite. And then, I'm feeling real good about myself. And, I got the scales on. I told Sister Milan I lost a little weight. I'm looking real good. Got some suits on. Said, Reverend, you feel good. She made Miss Jones, she made me feel good.
Yeah.
I said, shoot, I'm getting back there like I used to be 30, 40 years ago. And then she going to bust my bubble. She said, now don't go to Longhorn and put it back on.
That's a hard part.
Them Wild West shrimp out there, and that bread, you like them Wild West shrimp, don't you? Yeah, you can put it on in a hurry. Amen. Folk messing up your confidence, but you got to sacrifice on the way if you want to do this thing right.
Yes, sir.
Thirdly, I'm gonna be out of your way. You must have confidence in the contest. What are you saying, preacher? Therefore, look, I love verse 26. I'm gonna read it. It said, therefore I run thus not with uncertainty.
Yeah.
Thus I fight not as one who beats the air. Now let me help you with that. Amen, Sister Hedwood. Like there's one reason for the strength Paul showed as a Christian was his unwavering assurance of the power and love of God. He kept the prize of his high calling very clear in clear view. There was no misgivings in his heart or mind of the reality of the prize. He therefore stayed focused on the prize. Stay with me. Christians need to know that doubt always hinders advancement in the Christian life. Doubt.
Work it out.
Doubt causes a break in the wheels of progress. Doubt. This means that we must rise above the paralyzing, help me Holy Ghost, shadows of doubt. You would notice that Paul was suggesting that the Christian life demands a clear course and a definite aim. That's what this, watch this. This is why Paul said he did not box in such a way that he was beating the air. Come closer. He was saying that his punches in the arena of life was to be planted and skillfully planted. In other words, just to be doing some stuff. Just to be doing stuff. He did not waste time and energy. There it is, Reverend Bradley, by shadow boxing. swinging in some wild stuff and hoping to hit the mark. Some of us in life just out here swinging. We just doing some stuff and we just swinging and we think we gonna hit it and we mess it up and we doing. You ain't hitting nothing. You just acting a fool.
That's it. Ain't doing nothing. That's right.
Plan what you're doing and work your plan, amen. Have an aim. Get up in the morning and say, Lord, what do you have me to do? I'll try this and I'll try this and I'll go to this relationship. I'll shop here and all that. You know what? Get your Bible, put your rusty dusty at home, pray and seek the Lord's face. You just swinging and boxing in there. Paul said he did not miss his aim. He did not exert himself and use his strength for nothing. He did not wear himself out on things that produce no results. Y'all know Andre Crouch made that song a few years ago. Y'all know it. I'm talking loud and saying nothing. Andre Crouch. Y'all remember that, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Andre Crouch. You're just talking loud and saying nothing. Now, I know some of y'all saying that wasn't Andre Crouch, Reverend, that was James Brown. Just checking. Andre Crouch. Yeah. And some of us just talking loud and we ain't saying nothing. We just doing some stuff. We beating the head and we just doing things just to be doing. All of his efforts, Paul said, were directed toward defeating sin and serving God. And it is sad to say, but there are many people who spend their lives just beating the air. And it's sad. They spend their energy on nothing. They have very little aim for objectives. Yes, they were in the ring where the fight was supposed to take place, but their efforts were wasted because they were fighting the air and not the opponent.
Amen.
Y'all can say amen.
Amen.
You got to fight the opponent. Fourthly, constant control of the flesh. That's verse 27. This is where the rubber hits the road.
Hits the road.
Constant control of the flesh. That's where the battle is. It was a well-known fact among the Corinthians that for many months the athletes who participated in the athletic games were sought to be victorious, were forced to undergo severe discipline. They trained under the guidance and care of a skillful trainer. Their training required them to deny themselves many pleasures. They would endure much fatigue, hardship, suffering. Now Paul was suggesting that a Christian athlete, that they had to be temperance in all things. Stay with me.
All things.
We must become the sternest master of our bodies.
All right.
Ambassador, the Christian life is not a life of ease and self-indulgence.
No.
It calls for strenuous effort and self-denial.
Yeah.
You got to deny yourself some stuff.
Right. Take up your cross.
Everything that looks good to you ain't good for you. This word buffet means to beat back, beat it black and blue. In other words, to strike so as to cause bruises.
Yeah.
It means to discipline by hardship. And Paul understood that those who would be victorious must be in control of their bodies at all times. I said, turn to this at all times.
All times.
Work it out.
Rather than Paul serving his body, he made his body his slave.
That's it.
Amen.
He reduced his body to servitude.
Amen.
He reduced it to bondage. He did so because he was aware of the fact that indulging the part of the athlete would be a disaster. It tells us in Galatians, your spirit and your flesh will always be in contrary to one another.
Yeah.
Sister Larkin, your flesh will say this, amen, and your spirit will say no. Your flesh will say, you come over here, you know you want that, you like that, this is good for you, and go ahead and call them, do what you want to do. And your spirit say, no. And your flesh will say, oh yeah, you know, it worked 10 years ago, it worked for JoJo, it worked for Lottie, it It worked for Dottie. It worked for everybody. And your spirit will say, yeah, and look how Lottie and Dottie and everybody ended up.
That's right. Yeah. That's it, man. You preaching now.
The words in verse 27 suggest that Paul made use of all possible means to subdue his corrupt and carnal desires. Listen, everything that you think about ain't good.
No.
Is this mic still open?
All right. Yeah.
We think about some stuff, and we look at some stuff, amen, and all that. And let me tell you one thing, some of these TV programs I just can't watch no more.
Right.
Some of these things, amen. This is X-rated. And Paul, he wanted to show that he was not under the control and the power of the equal passion. And let me tell you, whatever you feed your flesh, you'll find your flesh liking and wanting those things, and you will think it's normal.
Come on now.
And he was completely under control of the power of God. And let me hasten, Paul understood that though he might preach to others and led them to Christ, there was a possibility, of being disqualified himself if he did not become a mass of his own body. Don't think you can handle it.
Walk heavy.
Have mercy.
I'm going to tell you, I turned 67 a few months ago, amen. I know I ain't going to see her, amen. But let me tell you one thing. If Beyonce knocked on my door every night for about 7 weeks straight, amen, I'm going to be looking around to see what Sister Melanie is, amen. I just heard the truth. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't saying nothing.
Because that flesh will get to talking. I say, no, why you keep coming over here? Why you keep messing with me? I was looking around. Wait a minute. You got to get up and leave right here. Like I said, I'm 67, but I ain't dead. Talk to me. But you can control your flesh. You trying to lose weight, and mama bring that apple pie with that bluebell ice cream on it, amen. I'm trying to work with myself, amen. Don't you want some of this good apple pie and that ice cream just melting down and say, no, I'm trying to work on my body. He said, bring me that pie and that ice cream over here. You think you got yourself under control. That flesh will have you all messed up. The word disqualified speaks of that which does not prove itself as it should. It speaks of that which is unfit. Let me help you. Paul said in the word disqualified, and Paul was not speaking of the loss of salvation. He wasn't talking about that. He was speaking of a contestant failing to meet all the requirements for competing in the contest, and therefore he was disqualified. Paul would have us to know that the Christian life is a life of constant struggle and effort.
All the time.
Paul wanted to grow diligently and receive a reward from Christ in his return. Reverend Basson liked to be like a person who builds his or her life with shoddy materials, only to be saved like someone escaping through the wall of flame. He would challenge us to keep moving forward. An upward call. Paul told the Philippians, I press toward the goal of the prize of the upward call of Christ Jesus, Philippians 3:14. God provides us with the power to make it through all trials and all temptations. And someone said, the will of God will never lead you where the grace of God cannot keep you. Preach, Reverend Milan. That's another way of saying what Paul said. He will never leave you comfortless. He never had temptations greater than we can bear. Let me close it like this. We pray for lighter burdens. We ought to pray for stronger backs. We pray for an easier path. We ought to pray for tougher feet. We pray for fewer problems. We ought to pray for better solutions. We pray for more money. We ought to pray for how to handle the money we already got. We pray for church growth. We ought to pray for God grow me better in the church I'm at. I'm done here with the Lord bless you real good. God is able to carry us through. It makes no difference what the world may do. Put your trust in Jesus in everything you do, and God is able to carry you through. Amen. I'm done here. May the Lord bless you real good. But there's some training we need to be about. You train yourself on Christ, Jesus Christ, and nothing less. His faithfulness, amen, will always carry you through.
Amen.
Build your hope on nothing less than Jesus Christ, amen, and he will carry you through. When it don't look to God, look back, look to the hills which comes your help, because all your help comes from the Lord. May the Lord bless you, may the Lord keep you. Make sure you continue to be a well-trained Christian.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you,
As
Lord.
we prepare for our invitation,
Yes, sir.
this contest you are in, this race, it can be difficult.
Right.
But if you follow these points, what Paul was following, and what he stood by, that helps us to get that imperishable crown. And that's the crown we need to be striving for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Paul said, I press toward the mark of the high calling.
I call.
Keep pressing your way through, because folk gonna try to slow you down. That's why the Hebrew writer said, lay aside every weight and the sin. See, everything ain't a sin, but there's some weights that so easily ensnares us. But run with patience the race that God has prepared for us. Let us stand.